So you got pre-approved and you're out looking at houses and maybe you've seen 8 or 10 properties that just don't fit what you're looking for. And then you decide, you know what, I'm just going to go buy some land and build my own house. Time out. Everybody, please listen to us. That is not the same. That is a different animal. If you have a pre-approval letter for a actual property, that is not going to help you, for most people at least, if you shift gears and go do the land and the construction loan route. And here is why. So, Stephen, you run into this just as much as I do. So, from your perspective, what are you seeing when this thing happens?
Man, it's such an easy thought. It can quickly kind of be this dream that just evolves. But the reality is, and I'm thankful to work for a company, Alcova Mortgage, that offers land financing, construction, vertical builds, and then obviously, conventional retail financing to buy a pre-existing home. But not only are those three different loans, they're three different types of approvals, and they're all independent. And we actually had a customer this past weekend that thought that pre-approval letter could be used to buy land. And it's not that it can't, because the same metrics of credit scores, debt to income ratios, but just for example, a land loan requires 35% down and it's a 10-year term, and then you have to build after it. So the timeout is absolutely necessary, because we got to go back to your plan, right? One thing we take pride on is putting together a plan to get you home ownership. If you're buying somebody else's existing house or even a builder's new construction, that plan's super easy. If you want to go dream up this, custom home, that requires a different set of underwriting and also a different size checkbook, because it just costs more money to do that. And I don't think people understand that, but we get that every day. Man, we've been looking and we've been looking. We just can't find what we want. So we're going to create it. And you can do that, but not until you talk to your loan officer and make sure that the old joke, I'm going to lend it, but you got to spend it. And just because you can doesn't mean you should. We got to have all those talks all over again.
Yeah. So, to kind of recap all of that, if someone's got a pre-approval letter for 3% down at conventional or 3.5% down FHA, and they can't find what they're looking for, and then they just decide on a random weekend to go find some property, and maybe the real estate agent doesn't know the difference between land and, buying an existing home or new construction home, and that 3.5% down payment goes from 3.5 to 35. And unfortunately, if someone does put an offer on a piece of land over the weekend and they thought that, and say the land is $100,000, they think, and they only need to put $3,000 down because that would be 3%. There's a real risk of them losing their due diligence fee on that land, because now they'd have to come up with $35,000 down payment. So that can be a real bummer, I guess is the best way to put it.
It can. And it's something where, if you're out there and you're watching this video and you're thinking, should I build, should I buy, to each their own, but make sure that conversation happens before you get in a car and go look at property, because the lender may not be able to approve you for that. So that might be the next step. Hey, let's work towards that goal. But right now, let's make sure that you get a house. But it's very easy to get frustrated when you can't find what you want. And your brain's like, well, then we'll just build what we want, right? We can do this. There's lots of builders. There's lots of land. And you absolutely can. But what season of life are you in? Because it just costs more money. Number one, land and construction loans are scrutinized more. So the underwriting and the lending capability is restricted. And then you got to be ready for that. And you got to make sure that your approval matches that. So that's the big thing, that there is financing for all of this. That's the positive. But the restrictions and the requirements are vastly different. There's no first-time home buyer incentives if you're buying land and building a house, right? You got to bring your own money to the table.
Yeah, and the other side of it is, not to get too far into the weeds on this, but we are going to be doing a full video on how to buy a house with land and do a construction loan coming up. So guys, make sure if you want to see that, you are subscribed to the channel. And while you're here, like this video. But what a lot of people don't understand, and we won't go too deep, but when land can be many things. But the biggest piece of buying land is to make sure that you're actually able to build on that land. You know, does it allow you to have a septic system? Does the land perk for a septic system? You know, that's the main thing. Because a lot of people right now, since COVID with working remote, everybody wants land. Now, number one, you've got to go farther outside of Charlotte to find land that is going to be suitable for a septic system, right? Because a lot of people during COVID are like, I can work remote. I'll just buy my dream home on my land somewhere. Well, that's wonderful if you can find suitable land, right? Is the biggest thing. So
Yeah, and the other thing too is with land, the ultimate goal would be to, buy the land with cash and not finance the land. And then that's your down payment when you build. But not everybody, can get in that position. So making sure you're financially ready to undertake this. And, a builder may tell you they can build a house in 3 months. Well, that's not the house you want. It's a 9 to 12 plus month project. So putting that plan together, and both you and I, Brian, take pride in that. Like, we want to hear what the customer wants to do. And then we want to bring reality and say, okay, well, then let's talk about this plan and make sure that this is the right direction for you and your family right now. But the quick flip of I'm approved for a mortgage, let me go buy land and build a house, that is not how this works. So that next video is going to be really good because we'll take a real deep dive into the nuts and bolts of that. And I know people need to be educated on this because I get this every single day is, hey, we're going to sell our house and buy land and build. Well, time out from the start. Let's talk about to see if that is even a reality in the math part of it, because the math is really important to make sure, can we lend it? And then also, can you spend it?
yeah, for sure. So guys, if you are thinking about buying land and building your own property on your land and you need some guidance on the real estate side, finding land, please reach out to me and my team. We would love to help you do that. And then we will connect with Steven and put a game plan together to make sure that we achieve your goal the right way and without you having to have any stress about the whole financing side. So guys, we're here to help. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and we will catch you in the next one. And please subscribe again, because we're going to be bringing that other video to you, going in deep dive about buying on your own land. So guys, take care. We'll catch you in the next one.